We're on your side tonight talking about another nationwide shortage. In the past 2 years, it seems we have seen national shortages from every direction on pretty much everything, right? Meat, fuel, furniture, computer chips, the list just goes on and on. Well, now you can add one more thing to the list, now threatening one of America's most beloved pastimes, hanging out at our local breweries. A crisis in the supply of industrial carbon dioxide has created trouble in the American craft beer industry. It's part of a long list of other cost increases threatening the business, which has been one of the nation's great small business success stories over the past 25 years.
Everything's gone up. CO2 has because of the short supply, but grain has substantially increased, and that's one of the biggest ingredients in brewing, our malt that we get from the farmers around the state and the country. Hops have gone up substantially, fruit has skyrocketed, everything's gone up, mainly because of the cost of shipping and the cost of gas, because it takes, you got to move things around the country to get to us, and even around the world, even though we source locally. So it's just crazy how expensive things have gotten.
Yeah, if you've always lived in Charlotte or been here only a month, it is quick to realize breweries make up a major industry here in the Queen City. So a national shortage on this critical element hits very close to home for our local brewers. Earlier today, I spoke with Phil Bushy, the owner of Legion Brewing. Along with giving us a bit of a tour, he shared the challenges facing his industry today. Carbon dioxide is probably not something a lot of us think about. It's obviously something you think about a lot. When did it become an issue on your radar? It's like, we got a problem maybe going on here.
Definitely everything during the pandemic gets shut down, and it's been an issue on our radar screen ever since the pandemic happened. When the supply chains tightened up across the board, CO2, grain, hops, when everybody hid in their homes for a good reason, it gummed things up, and it's still working its way through the system, especially when the shipping became an issue. So we've always been noticing it, and just the beginning of this year, it got even bigger because some plants shut down for maintenance and really put a strain on the system.
Where does your supply come from for that?
All over the place. We've got a really strong local contractor that we use, Robert's Oxygen. They're awesome. We've got great friendships and the history with them, and they source from all over the country, and they're independent, so they're able to, bob and weave and make sure that they provide great service to us. For those of us who just like to enjoy a good beer, but have no idea what it is used for in the process, explain that a little bit and how important it is to you. It is. I mean, CO2 is naturally occurs in beer. When yeast ferment the sugars, they give off CO2 in the process, and that's what gives the carbonation to the beer. But not just in the making of the beer, the carbonation, but you go to a restaurant or a bar, that's how the draft system runs. To pour a pint off the beer is pressurized with CO2, and that's how you pour those delicious, tasty pints.
So it's the actual pour, is it also the making of the beer itself? You need it in that as well?
We need it a lot. So the yeast naturally makes CO2, but we also have to have backup CO2 to run processes, push out of tanks, purge tanks, dial in the flavor, the mouthfeel of the beer. It's a big process, and it's very concerning when you don't have enough.
I bet so. If you would run out, or if you can't get it, for a period of time, what happens? Do you lose product?
We basically stop in our tracks, but luckily we've been very blessed here, and we've got a lot of great smart people. We've invested in being able to recapture our own CO2, generate some out of just the pure atmosphere with different filters that we use. So it's hyper important. That's why we don't rely on just one source, because it'll stop us dead in our tracks if we don't have its availability.
So through fermenting, you're obviously, you said you're producing CO2, so you're capturing that and reusing it, almost recycling it, if you will?
Correct. We recycle CO2 as much as possible. So if God forbid, CO2 supplies ran out, I mean, we would be okay. It wouldn't be easy, but we would keep going.
Is there any way you can kind of quantify that in a way? What would it cost you for a can, for as an example, what it costs now to produce, a can of beer?
I mean, that's a complex question.
Yeah.
But the margins are really tight even before, and now they're even tighter. So it's stressful at times.
I bet it is. Is it frustrating? Because here, obviously, the demand, you guys are going gangbusters. The room is filled right now on a Friday afternoon. You've got the demand, but then to have to face these other pressures must be just, maddening at times.
Yeah, well, you just got to wake up Monday and get after it. Nothing's easy, but it's a lot of fun over here. So we have a great time, and a day at a brewery is a good day.
Yeah, that it is.